Greetings, fellow book lovers, and welcome back to Colin's Corner. Today we are going to be going over everything that I read in the month of January, but before we get into it, we have to go over the answer for the last Comedy with Colin segment, where I asked you guys the joke, what is a balloon's least favorite type of music? The answer? Pop music. Alright, with that out of the way, I just want to start off this video just talking about kind of where I have been recently, and I won't try to, harp for too long on this because I know many of you come here for the book stuff, but so I looked at my YouTube creators page, and the last time that I posted a video was, I think, 17 days ago. So I just, I've been so busy, just feel like with life, and I felt so non-stop for a while now, and I think that I just unintentionally needed a break, and I very intentionally recently have been trying to detach from just being so connected all the time. And I absolutely love making content about books and chatting with you guys in the comments and doing live discussions and sharing my passion for reading. But, when the rubber meets the road, a new school semester started in January. I'm always very busy just trying to get my footing with all my classes, figure out how much work is going to be needed to be dedicated to each of them. And, I work, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I love spending time with my family. And I've just needed to, I think, just get away from the constant feeling like I needed to upload, constant feeling like I needed to create content, and because that's ultimately not what this is about. Yes, of course, I want my channel to grow and to have more people in my community that I can share my love of books with, but at the end of the day, I do this for fun, and I've just felt very drained recently and needing to just step away a little bit and not take this so seriously. So I really do think it's manageable for me to get at least a video a week out to you guys, but I'm trying to relieve some of the self-imposed pressure that I put on myself to get videos out. And I know that you guys understand, but I do feel like, as somebody that has people that comment and come to my channel and wonder where I've been when it's been a while, I feel like I owe you guys an explanation as to why things have been kind of slow recently. So with that out of the way, let's get on to the books that I read in January. Alright guys, the first book I managed to finish in the month of January is going to be the third book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, Memories of Ice, by, of course, Steven Erikson. Man, what an absolutely incredible novel. This is many people's favorite book in the series, or one of their top books in the series, and I can certainly understand why. And I've actually begun working on a review for this one, and it will be the next video that I put out after this wrap up. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about specifics here, but I will say one thing. The last 60 to 70 pages of this book had me virtually sobbing at multiple different scenes, and I will go into some spoiler talk, of course, in my review because it's the third book. I feel safe maybe just doing a brief non-spoiler reaction to it and getting into just how I felt about some specific aspects of this book. But my experience with Erikson's writing thus far is that there's so many characters and so many different plot threads going on at the same time that I think I may be deceiving myself in thinking that I'm not really that attached to emotionally the characters, but then Erikson just has all of these mic drop moments, all of these, like if this were in a theater, it would be just stunned silence when some of these scenes happen, and all of a sudden I just find myself like I have to stop reading and be like, oh my god, how did you do that, sir? Uh, anyways, I don't want to get into too much here, like I said, but I know it's early, but unless I have the most insane reading year of my entire life, this is already going to be in the running for one of the best books of the year for me. Next up, nothing special, just another probable book of the year for me already. So January was pretty fantastic of a reading month, if you ask me. And that book is going to be The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This is one of those books that is kind of blowing up in our little niche corner of the internet here, and it is for a very good reason. This is a story about family, about found family, about honor, mistakes, and so very much more. This is one of the most unique deliveries of a story that I have personally ever read. And was one of the most immersive reading experiences I've ever had because of the narrative choices that Jimenez made. The choices were bold, but they were the right choices. It was immaculately executed, in my opinion, and The Spear Cuts Through Water is it's the story of a mother who made a mistake, about her three sons who are known across the world as the Three Terrors, a moniker that they each contribute to in their own horrible ways. And I don't know, it had my eyes glued to the pages for the entire time. There was no build-up, no clunky middle, and no fizzle-out ending. This novel, in its entirety, cover included, is it's an exceptional work of art and is an experience that I will not quickly forget. I cannot recommend giving this book a shot more. It is very different, but I honestly believe that this is the kind of fantasy book that may be able to transcend fans of just fantasy into fans of fiction. I think that any fan of fiction would be able to pick up this book if they're down with just getting a little bit weird and out there and really just enjoy this incredible, incredible story. And it's not too long. I believe it's not long for a fantasy fan. It's a little over 500 pages, I believe. But if you've had The Spear Cuts Through Water on your radar and you think it might be something that you're interested in, I say pick it up. It was an absolute blast, emotionally touching, riveting, anxiety-inducing, beautiful, absolutely beautiful prose. Jimenez absolutely knocks it out of the park. Alright guys, next up on the list we have City of Dragons, the third book in the Rainwilds Chronicles by, of course, Robin Hobb. This tetralogy has been steadily growing on me with each installment in it. I absolutely loved the subtle and the direct tie-ins to the previous three trilogies in the realm of the Elderlings that I have read thus far. Many of the characters in this specific tetralogy are growing on me that were not my favorites in terms of characters in this entire series. The Rainwilds was the one that I connected to the least with the first book. And with the second book, it grew, and with this third book, I'm even more attached. The plot of this tetralogy, I've always been super excited about. I think the plot is awesome. It was just the characters that took a while longer than any other books that Robin Hobb has written that I've read. It took me a lot longer to connect with these characters, but Leftrin, I now love. Alice and Cedric have individually grown on me, and many of the dragons feel like their very own fleshed out characters as well, which just adds another whole aspect of character work that is an absolute joy to read. Now, while I can see how some people say that the series feels more YA, whatever that means exactly, I don't know if it's meant to be a negative thing, but if that's meant to be negative, I don't think that that's a term I will be using to describe any books, because it's assuming that YA is somehow lower tier than adult fiction, which I don't agree with, but I'm assuming what people mean when they say that is that they mean the tone is more targeted towards a younger audience. And I could see that with the first book, but with the second book, Dragon Haven, and with this book, City of Dragons, the third, I would not consider this to be targeted towards a younger audience at all. Um, so if you're worried about that aspect of the Rainwatch Chronicles, I don't think you have too much to be worried about there. But anyways, Hobb has, for me, thus far, never missed on an ending to one of her subseries. So with Farseer, I loved Assassin's Quest. With the Live Ship Traders, I loved Ship of Destiny. And Fool's Fate is my current favorite book of all time. So I anticipate an amazing conclusion with Blood of Dragons. All right, and lastly, I finished The Dark Half by Stephen King alongside my sister. I think it's safe to say that we both had a good time reading this one. And while it isn't going to crack into the list of my, favorite Stephen King of all time books, I certainly found it enjoyable. Now, Stephen King has this way of taking a plot idea that sounds absolutely ridiculous and impossible to make it seem believable, maybe not believable, but feasible. But if you're really willing to suspend your disbelief, his ideas could work. And with this one, the premise, sounded almost too far-fetched. And lo and behold, not far into this book at all, I found myself in our checkup phone calls my sister and I have already theorizing about how this was going to play out and completely invested in the storyline, suspension of disbelief, fully, and just having a blast. I personally love Stephen King's writing. He has me chuckling and like gripping the edge of my seat or my bed or wherever I am. I had a blast, and this one didn't move mountains for me, but it gave me what I expected out of The Dark Half. And I think that in my quest to eventually read all of Stephen King's books, this is certainly not one that fell flat. And I had a lot of people say to me, I'm not sure if you're going to love this one. I want to hear what your thoughts are, because, I don't know, implying that maybe it wasn't one of their favorites. And I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't too long, and it was a really fun premise. So if you haven't read The Dark Half and you're a big fan of Stephen King, I say it's definitely worth a shot. That is going to do it for my wrap-up for January. Again, I apologize that it is so late. I don't even know, the recording of this is February 18th. So I apologize, but I am working. I'm trying my hardest, guys, and my next video is going to be a review of Memories of Ice, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I wanted to save this towards the end of the video because I'm going to do something a little new on the channel, because my daughter is extremely talented, loves doing arts and crafts, and she makes me little arts and crafts and gives them to me, and it makes my heart absolutely sing. So I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that my extremely talented daughter has made for me recently. The first is going to be this little, can I get it to focus? Yes. So if you can't tell, it looks to me to be a little candy corn that she actually sewed together, and she taped it with masking tape to ensure that the stuffing would stay in there, and it is adorable and fantastic. Next up, she has these beads, these iron press beads. So you basically put them all together on this pegboard type of thing, and you can make different designs with them. And she made me this cat that I keep on my bookshelf that you guys may have seen in the background of some of my videos, and it is adorable. It's awesome. Next up, one of her favorites, recent arts and crafts, are these things called aqua beads. So again, you have these little trays that you place these beads in, and there are templates to follow, and then you just drop little droplets of water all along the tray, and the beads end up sticking together. So she made me a couple of these. This is Cinderella in aqua bead form. Totally cool. It sits on my bookshelf, and I love it. And I also have Belle. Check this out. Amazing. Amazing. Last but not least, quick story time. I had a kind of trying day at work. This was, I think, 3 days ago now. And I got home from work. I work usually evenings, and my wife and daughter were both asleep. And sitting right where we keep our keys so I would not miss it, she was so proud. The next morning, this is the first thing she asked me about. Did you see this? She made this for me. This is my beautiful wife and daughter, made with the ironing craft, the iron beads. It's amazing. It says, "For Colin." I mean, come on. Why not the luckiest guy in the whole world? Just amazing. So yes, I wanted to showcase some of my daughter's art because she is extremely talented, and I hope she continues to love expressing herself in whatever art form she desires. Before we officially go, we have to do this video's comedy with Colin, and today's joke is going to be, why did the golfer bring 2 pants? If you think you know the answer, add it to your comment below. I know we're a little bit late, but guys, let me know what you read in January. If you enjoyed your reads in January, if they were a little lackluster, I want to hear about it in the comments. As always, guys, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are all enjoying what you're currently reading, and remember, you're always welcome in Colin's Corner.